I'm Jem.
And I'm Victoria.
And this is
The Criminal Crack.
That was perfection. It was also perfection the last 2 times we recorded that. But Victoria opened her big gob, talked a load of rubbish, and have made us start again. She's hanging her head, and she should hang her head in shame.
I'm saying no more.
Anyway, that was beautiful. 13 episodes and we have nailed it.
That was harmonising like the angels in heaven.
It was beautiful. Some birds did fall out of the trees. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Maybe they were just coming to see what it was all about. Like, what is that glorious sound?
Maybe they heard the best thing they'd ever heard and that was it. Life over. You know, like in Friends when the ghost is in Phoebe, now I've seen everything.
And then poof, gone. Yeah.
Anyway, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, nailed that intro for
You did?
third time we tried it. But yeah.
We did it really well the first 2 times as well, though.
Well, you did.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm okay. We've just been battered by Storm Amy, which is a lame name for a storm, because it should be like Amadeus.
Well, I'm going to tell you something because she
Archibald.
won't listen to this. My sister-in-law is an Amy and she's about 5 foot tall. And she's one of the scariest people ever if you get on the wrong side of her. If she gets angry, she could have caused that storm. Did you watch all of Buffy?
Yeah.
You know when Willow causes like uproar and everything? Yep.
Yeah, when she's Dark Willow.
I loved her as Dark Willow.
Yeah,
I love
that was
Buffy. I might have
cool.
to start that again.
And I love what broke her was the yellow crayon. Oh, and Xander. Oh, I love Buffy.
Me
I love
too.
the original movie Buffy as well. Actually, I was talking about this with Andy the other day because I was a guest on his podcast.
You were Beyond Graves and Stars. I wasn't asked, but great.
Well, you have been asked, but that is for... So we're going to record with Andy again.
Well,
but
I
this
might.
time it's a murder-based film that none of us have actually seen yet. So we're gonna
Talk about that. But why can't he do a pony film?
He would happily do a pony film, and don't get him started on dogs because he's dog mad, absolutely dog mad. I'm not sure if he likes them in uniform like you do, but
I love a dog in uniform.
but yeah, I went on his mini series looking at the Nightmare on Elm Street films, which was really fun because I got to reminisce, and I remember watching them with my brother growing up, and yeah, really good fun. And I didn't realise until I started listening to his pod, though. He had like a movie scholar on there, and he had a horror author.
And then you.
And then me. And I'm like, oh.
This might explain why I've not been asked to go on then. Sorry, Andy, I totally get it. All I want to talk about is My Little Ponies, and I go off on one. And a minute ago, I literally stared at Victoria for 2 minutes solid, not knowing what to do or say. So
I honestly
understand
thought
it.
that Jem had some, like, horrific news or something.
Just in my own head.
I was just like, are you there? Are you okay? Like, have you been
here.
possessed?
I'm quite stressed, though.
You are.
I've got a really sore shoulder. I've been working loads. My dad's coming over to visit from Holland, so of course, like I don't know if anybody else is like me, but I do not like people coming into my house, my space. And of course, when somebody visits you from another land, you have to let them stay in your home. So
Netherland.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you do Neverland, but like Netherland?
Yeah.
Well done.
I know.
So I've got
so
that.
smart.
Then I had to get new heating put in. And again, I don't like people in my house. I had to leave on the last day because the drilling was too noisy.
And that is stressful anyway, having tradesmen. Love them when they do the work right, but it is still stressful having them in your space.
To be fair, they were
isn't it?
really good. They cleaned up behind themselves and all that sort of jazz, but I just don't like it. So, and then my firstborn is 15 tomorrow. So I've been buying presents.
And I bought her something that I hope she loves.
You have to, we'll put it up on Facebook because it's really cool.
Yeah.
What you've got her. And I forgot what I was going to say.
Eldest born. She was the same age when she was born as her brother. She, firstborn is what I was thinking of saying.
Eldest born.
I know, I don't know where that came from.
That was nonsense.
That's like
really.
yesterday when I was meant to type police custody and I wrote olive custody.
You did, and yesterday I went to buy soup and a roll and I ordered soup and margarine. And they looked at me and they were like, would you like it on a roll? Yeah, please. It's all been a bit all over the place.
Yeah, but this episode's going to be epic though, isn't it? You've promised me.
I didn't ever say anything about epic.
Okay. This episode's going to be...
Lukewarm. It's going to be okay.
You just dropped something.
It's just my phone, it's fine.
Okay. It's fine. Our CEO's not in the room today, so it didn't land on her head, luckily.
No, I've banned our CEO from the room because some of you might have noticed some panting in the background of the last episode and probably other episodes. Stop it.
It wasn't me.
And I always think because I'm the loudest out of the two of us, people are going to think it's me, just like...
It's Gemma.
It's not.
No, it's our elderly CEO because Dogface is 14 now and she's a little snooze hound.
I'm not being funny, but my daughter's 15 tomorrow and she don't pant.
Dogface is a dog though. 14 is like, what's 14 times 7? Maths.
I'm just gonna watch you try to do it.
Oh, okay.
Well, 70. Well, 77.
98.
98. How did you get 98? Oh, 14 times
7.
I've got 11 in my head. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yeah. Let's. Are we ready? Are you wanting to roll?
I'm ready to rock and roll.
Is that our catching up done? Have we left out anything significant?
You bought me a new pony.
I found another wild pony and Gemma now
I
thinks
go to
that
all the same shops.
Yeah, she thinks that I'm now buying them off Vinted and I'm not.
I'm pretending.
I found a wild Harry.
She did, and it's awesome. And I feel like I might have to put the collection up.
You're going to have to
page.
show people eventually, but that does increase the risk of somebody burglarising your house.
Oh yeah, as somebody on TikTok said, leave the window open because it increases the value.
Do not threaten to steal Gemma's ponies. She will.
Come for you.
Yeah. She will hunt you down and kick your ass.
Which is really weird because this episode I think I'm going to call We're Coming For You.
Oh, good.
Might not.
Little
segue
into...
And I didn't fall off a cliff like the man who invented the Segway.
Is this something your dad's told you that you believe?
No, this is true. So you know Segways, the little things that you stand on?
I know what Segway is.
The guy who invented them died by falling off a cliff.
On a Segway?
Yep. Don't laugh, he's dead.
I'm so sorry, that's terrible. I remember hearing a story once about this guy that used to sell double glazing for skyscrapers and he actually fell to his death by saying, ours is the best, most robust glass, and he sort of buffed it and went out, it failed.
Oh my God.
I know.
Wait, was he there? Hang on. So he was in a building that had his double glazing in it.
Yeah.
What was he there for? What was he trying to sell?
Infomercial, I think.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I know.
That's horrible.
It is horrible.
I wish you hadn't brought that up.
Sorry.
Just ask me what the crack is.
So, Gemma, what's the crack?
Today, we are beginning on Monday, the 10th of February, 1996. Tanya Nicole Kach left as usual for Cornell Intermediate School, where she was an 8th grade pupil but never came home.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. She was born on Wednesday, the 14th of October, 1981, to parents Sherry and Jerry Kach.
Sherry and Jerry.
I know.
Oh, I bet they are, like, really lovely.
They're not.
Are they not?
I'm not saying they're not lovely
wrong.
people, but the family lived in the small township of Monongahela in Greene County, Pennsylvania, named after the Monongahela River, which crosses the Pennsylvania border. Tanya's early years were turbulent, to say the least. Jerry, her father, was working 12-hour-long shifts, leaving her in the care of her mother, Sherry, who was alleged to be abusive and an alcoholic.
Oh, okay.
So not so lovely.
Not so, they sound like they would make you a pot roast and bring it round, but maybe not.
They do. They sound like maybe like the Goldberg's mum and somebody who I know is an actor with a moustache.
Burt Reynolds.
No, not like a love interest, but more like a, hi, we're the Catches and we'd love to see you today. But they weren't.
Oh.
In 1995, the marriage between her parents had broken down and Jerry filed for divorce seeking full custody of Tanya, which he was granted. From this day on, Tanya had little contact with Sherry, and with her father moved about 17 miles away to the city of McKeesport in Allegheny County. I should have looked that one up.
She always picks the ones with the dodgy names.
And I always have notes on my scripts that say, check how to say this, and then I forget. But it's also in Pennsylvania, so they were going to start a new life together. This move brought a new home, a new school, and a new stepmother in the form of her father's new fiancée, Joanne. I don't know her surname. Now, this was a lot of change for the young girl who'd already been through a lot in her young life, and so it's probably no surprise to you when I say that she acted out. From researching, it would appear that Tanya was probably pretty much left to bring herself up in her early years, and she was quite possibly just left to do her own thing, and therefore felt quite independent and responsible. So when she moved in with Jerry and Joanne, they began trying to give her structure and rules. She didn't like it and rebelled against their authority.
Sorry, what sort of age was she? I think I missed that.
She was 13 when the divorce happened.
Okay, right.
She especially didn't like being told what to do by Joanne and showed her a complete lack of respect, which is quite common.
It is quite common with step parents, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, especially if they don't have children of their own. Because, I mean, it's hard. It must be hard as a step parent because you're going into something that you've not done before, especially if you've not got kids.
And the sort of foundations are already there, aren't they? The mouldings are already there. So, yeah, I'm sure it is difficult. Yeah.
Tanya felt increasingly isolated, and I'm sure you will agree that this left her in a truly vulnerable state. This led to her staying out late and also running away from home for days at a time, which breaks my heart and also terrifies me because I've got a 15-year-old tomorrow. And I think, what would I do if she just didn't come back for a couple of days?
Yeah, and it is... When a child runs away, people think, "Ooh, naughty child." Mm-hmm. But there's always a reason for that. That is a cry for help in a way, isn't it?
Well, it is, because it's unlikely that a child from a really balanced upbringing would feel the need to do it.
Exactly.
I remember, I've never run away, but I do remember telling my mum that I wanted to go and live with my dad one time, and she packed a suitcase for me.
Oh, blimey.
I know.
Oh.
I didn't go.
Despite her.
Yeah, I will stay here.
Now you've done it.
Yeah. So these behaviours extended to how she acted in her new school, Cornell Intermediate Senior High School, in the city she was now living in, McKeesport, which she started attending at aged 14, so the divorce was 13 and she started at this school at 14. Starting a new school, especially in your teens, would be daunting for most people, as we all know that sometimes teenagers can be quite unkind in general, but more so to newcomers. Tanya had a particularly hard time reportedly sharing with Jerry that she was being bullied by the other kids in her classes. Her father stated that at this time her behaviour was getting out of control. Not only were teachers frequently informing him that Tanya refused to follow rules and didn't take being disciplined very well, but he had found out that she was drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana and normal cigarettes, and she was getting into a lot of fights.
At 14.
At 14. Oh, one of the fights she was in resulted in her punching a child called Monica Krimm in the face. Now, sadly, the name Krimm became very well known in Pennsylvania years later when Monica's younger sister, Kimberlie, was found brutally murdered in 1998. And I'll tell you more about that shortly, but I want to stay with Tanya to begin with. Whether the bullies or Tanya were to blame for the fights that went on, we don't know, but I do suspect that Tanya began to give as good as she got. I'm sharing this with you to give you an idea of where Tanya was mentally when she made her first friend in the school. Thomas Hose came onto Tanya's radar one day in the 8th grade. She was 14 years old at the time and had experienced a particularly bad school day when at the end of one of her lessons she grabbed all her school stationery, her notebook and pens, shoved them into her school bag and legged it. She had decided she couldn't take any more from the girls who had targeted her, so instead of heading to her next subject, she bolted out of the school and across the school grounds with no intention to head home to her dad and his fiancée. With the edge of the school grounds in sight, she thought she was free and clear, but then she was spotted by Tom. Stopping dead in her tracks, she panicked, thinking she would have to head back in, when Tom asked her why she was leaving school. Gulping down her panic and catching her breath, she tried desperately to keep the tears in her eyes from falling as she told him all about being bullied. When Tom said he wouldn't tell on her, she felt incredibly grateful and thanked him before continuing to leave. From this day on, she found Tom to be an ally and would often talk to him and tell him all about what was going on in her life. He became a real shoulder to cry on. As their friendship developed, he began to bring her little presents and give her money to buy cigarettes and things that she wanted. And this attention made Tanya feel wonderful. He made her laugh, and when she was with him, she felt so special. She'd never felt anyone show her this kind of attention or listen to her properly before. During numerous secret meetings between the two, she opened up to him like she never had before. As he listened, she shared how unhappy she was following her parents' divorce. And she was deeply unhappy in the school because of the bullies and at home because of her father's new relationship. And she shared with him that she was planning to run away soon. At 14, 15 years old, Tanya, who had never had a boyfriend before, thought that she was falling for him and that Tom would be her first love. So one day, when he kissed her for the first time, she was just over the moon. Young love sounds so romantic, doesn't it? Do you remember your first kiss?
My first kiss?
Your first love.
I remember my first love. It's been my only love.
Oh.
Yeah. Bless him.
Don't start crying.
I'm not going to start crying.
I used to, and I think it's my ADHD stroke autism, I used to fall in love at the drop of a hat at school because I think I would get really enamoured with people and they couldn't do any wrong.
Yeah.
I probably just followed them about.
It's a strange thing though. It's something I've thought about a lot because I've been on my own for so long. But we're taught to find this romantic love, whereas love doesn't have to be romantic. You know, I've got some of the best friends in the world.
You're welcome.
And that's enough for me. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right though. And when we were growing up, it was all those movies in the 90s where, like, girl didn't want to be with guy persisted, basically stalked, and that's why a lot of people have got a really skewed view of what love should be, because you're taught to accept these terrible
and you
behaviours.
are taught to go for this romantic love, this romantic connection, where it doesn't have to be that at all. You can have connections with people without anything like that.
You can, and even in like romantic relationships, like you're sort of taught that it's to be like that all the time, and it isn't like that. When you're long term with somebody, sometimes you really don't like each other, and then other times it's wonderful.
Because actually, as humans, we're individuals. So yeah. Oh, we're getting all deep.
We are. We're like.
But I'm glad she's found Thomas, because that sounds sweet.
Yeah. For the majority of people, these days are full of fun and innocence. However, in Tanya's case, this wasn't so, as Tom wasn't a boy her own age. Oh no. I'm sorry, you just said how sweet it was. He was a 38-year-old man.
No.
Sorry.
Gemma! That's horrifying.
Sorry.
I thought he was another schoolboy. I'm so disturbed.
Sorry.
Okay.
I did write it that way, but sorry. He was a 38-year-old man who worked in her school as a security guard. And so what just sounded so lovely and cute a minute ago
was grooming.
Was actually a sinister build-up of grooming behaviour targeted at a young, vulnerable girl by a grown man who should have known better.
Oh, yuck.
Sorry. Grooming is defined by the Metropolitan Police as the actions and behaviours that a person will use to build a relationship with someone in order to manipulate them into doing things they wouldn't otherwise. Groomers target young people or adults who are vulnerable, and while the types of abuse are usually sexual or financial, it can also take the form of other illegal acts. Now, I want to ask you to keep an eye on our socials, as I'll be sharing a lot of resources on grooming and information on how to get help. So if you feel like you're being groomed or know someone who is, please use the resources to get help.
I was going to ask you about his age, and then I'm like, no, because they're in the school playing field, so it's a school kid, right?
Yeah.
I feel so...
In Tanya's case, Thomas Hose made her feel safe from the very first time they met by not marching her back to school, which a trustworthy security guard would have done. He then began taking her out of classes, away from the bullies, which made her feel so grateful. And this flabbergasted me, because why was that allowed? He wasn't a counsellor or anything, and she would never have had a valid reason for a one-on-one session with a pupil in the first place.
Do they have checks in America like they have?
Yeah, like DBS and PVG. Yeah, but if you've never been picked up for anything, you've not got a record.
That certificate is valid until you walk out the room with it, and then you can do something and it changes. So
Yes, I think background checks, like, it's not to say that they're not valid because you get it done and then, you could walk out and do whatever.
We're both DBS checked at the moment.
We are. And
because of the other work that we've done, not because of the podcast or anything, but...
No, we've worked with vulnerable people, you still work with vulnerable people, so... Yeah. The first kiss that they had was in an area of the school that was quite secluded within the, from what I can make out, like under the stairs or something. And I think she used to go and visit him in like a cupboard and things like that.
See, I was thinking about My Girl and Thomas J and stuff like that, and now in my head I've got this ugh.
Don't talk about My Girl.
Why?
I can't cope with My Girl.
Oh, does it make you
It's the
sad?
first film I ever cried at.
Aww.
And I wasn't a crier till I had kids.
He can't see without his glasses.
He's dead. Get over it. Sorry. I don't know why I said that. Anyway.
And I just snorted on Mike, sorry. He made me snort out loud.
Sorry. We're a bit all over the place today. It's because we
are.
had coffee before we started.
And cake.
So he had made her feel really special, which built her trust, and eventually he made her believe that he was a safe person. I think the thankfulness she had towards him, she mistook that for love.
Yeah.
Well,
and maybe the comfort that he gave was something that she was missing at home.
It was, yeah.
And so that's why...
The reason his grooming was so effective was because, as she said, she'd never felt the centre of anyone's attention, and your parents should give you that at some point, surely.
Yeah, that's awful.
It is, it's horrible. And if not a parent, usually there's like a doting grandmother, but there doesn't seem to be anything like that in Tanya's life.
She had no one.
She had nobody. While it does not say this explicitly in the articles, I imagine he probably told Tanya to keep their friendship a secret from everyone in case he got into trouble, but she didn't really have anybody to tell anyway. By the time she was 15, Thomas Hose had begun to sow the seeds of them being together in her head. And finally, like in a fairy tale, one day he asked her to move in with him. And this made Tanya feel like he was rescuing her, so she agreed, and they made a plan to sneak away to start their lives together away from the school and Tanya's turbulent family situation. It was Monday the 10th of February when Jerry and Joanne found Tanya's bed empty, and they just assumed she'd gotten up earlier than usual for school. It wasn't until late afternoon that they began to suspect she wasn't going to be coming home that night. Now, for me, I'd have been straight on the phone reporting her as missing, but Jerry waited 3 whole days before making the call.
Wow.
I know, that's wild, isn't it? I can't imagine waiting that long to report a kid as missing. I'm the person that would report them after 5 minutes of them not coming in the door. But he explained that Tanya would run away regularly and always came home, so he thought it would be the same this time too. So it makes me think, did he never report her before?
That's so
a way to make you feel
irresponsible.
loved. I know.
And yeah, what does that say to her?
I know.
We don't even miss you when you're gone. Ugh.
Oh, I hadn't even noticed you weren't here. Yeah. When it got to night 3 though, he began to worry and he sought out help, filing a missing persons case with the police on the 14th of February. Despite police involvement, there was no sign of Tanya anywhere, and no one had any clue where she might have headed. Remember, she didn't get on with her biological mother, so it was unlikely she would have gone to her, and she had no friends to tell of her plans. None except Thomas, of course, which nobody knew about. We also need to remember that she'd run away numerous times before, and the police would have found out from the school that she was a known, air quote, troublemaker and was a bit wild, so it could be that they didn't prioritise her case, thinking that she was just, air quotes again, another teenage runaway, which happened in America. The amount of times I've heard cases where that's happened, and they might have been able to save these kids if they'd got to them.
But it doesn't matter if you're a delinquent or an honest student. The same effort should be put in to find you.
Exactly, I totally agree. Jerry Kach heard nothing about his daughter until 10 years later when a call came in from someone who knew exactly what had happened to Tanya. Are you ready?
No.
Police found out the following. Prior to the date that Tanya left her family home, She and Hose had been going to the home of a friend of his called Judy Sokols. Tanya got to know her and learned to trust her too. She was older as well. Over several weeks, she would stay there regularly before turning up the day she left her father's home. On that day, Judy, who was a hairstylist, dyed Tanya's hair to make it harder to find her, before Hose then plied the young girl with alcohol, got her drunk, and then sexually assaulted her for the first time. As always, I'm now going to use the term essayed when I'm referring to that behaviour. Now, I'm not sure if Tanya realised this was an assault or whether she actually thought it was consensual, but she was drunk and underage, so I'm calling it what it was.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? She might not have realised.
It's statutory rape regardless of...
She was vulnerable, she was drunk, she
was underage, he had groomed and manipulated her for a period of time.
But in her head, she would have still thought this was like a loving situation.
I get it, yeah. As, you know, naive young teenagers, especially girls, have this idea in their head, I think, of what it should be, could be, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you're brought up to trust adults.
Mm-hmm. And you're brought up to look for this romantic love, connection.
Well, you used to be.
Yeah.
I have to say with my children, I'm very open with them about how the world is.
Yeah.
And I've always taught them if an adult asks you for help, you don't help. If it's a stranger especially, you don't help, because an adult doesn't need anything from a child.
True, yeah.
Now, some sources state that she stayed with Sokol for a few weeks, spending time with Hose, but others seem to point to the next part taking place the day she left home, and I'm not entirely sure, but I think she'd been going back and forth to that woman's place with Hose in the run-up to it, but if she was staying, she was maybe staying a night or two at a time, and obviously her father wouldn't have reported anything.
So what was that woman's connection to him? Were they...
Just friends.
Okay.
And so I think that the day she got her hair dyed was the same day that she went missing.
Okay.
Thomas and Tanya made their break from Sokol's home on a freezing cold February afternoon and headed to the Hose family home in McKeesport, a couple of miles away from the home she had run away from that morning. They weren't far away at all, it was like a couple of miles. Thomas shared the abode with his parents and his grown-up son. I think his son was 22. Having seen the home for myself, I would describe it as a 2-storey, single-family home with 4 steps leading to a covered porch and then the front door. It had horizontal siding with a gabled roof and a chimney and multiple windows. The windows on the top floor appeared to have shutters and the outer facing looked wooden. I don't know if they've got a certain type of name, those houses, but it's sort of like the ones in American Shameless. That's what it made me think. So to the right of the front of the house was a fenced off garden area. The Hose home was detached but sat really close to its next door neighbours, which appeared to be a mirror image of their house, and the whole street appears to have been made up by these pairs all the way along. When the pair arrived at the home, Thomas ushered Tanya up the stairs and showed her his bedroom, which has been described as secluded, and this was the bedroom they were going to share. I've seen pictures of it and it's dire.
But there were other people there.
They stepped into the room together before Hose promptly locked it behind them. He told her this was to keep her safe. In an instant, things changed and Tanya went from feeling all loved up to being confused and feeling that something wasn't quite right. From the very first day, Tanya found herself a prisoner in the top of the home, which was meant to be her sanctuary, somewhere to heal and to be with someone who truly loved her and wanted to be with her. Hose told her that if she made herself known in the home, or alerted anyone, purposely or not, he would kill her while she slept. His plan, he said, was to put her body in a rubbish bag and chuck her in a river. So when they turned up, I'm assuming everybody else was out.
Mm.
Despite the length of time she was there, she never even saw his parents or son, let alone met them.
So they had no clue?
To a certain point. No, they didn't know. They say they didn't know. Day after day, she was forced to stay in the room without making a noise. Keep her a complete secret, Hose fed her only his leftovers. He wouldn't ask, and I think he did this so that if he bought extra food, he knew there would be questions about where it was going.
Yeah.
So she just got leftovers. He also provided her with a bucket, which was to be her toilet, and she was only ever allowed to leave her prison when the parents and son were asleep so she could have a shower, which you may find weird, but I'll get to that in a minute. To get to the shower, Tanya was taught which floorboards to step on, as many in the old house creaked, and she was to avoid them in case she woke somebody up. Like all groomers, now Hose had taken Tanya away from prying eyes, he dropped his loving, friendly act of being a safe haven for her and showed his true colours. Now, the reason for the showers will become clear to you, and I tell you that one of the very early days of her captivity, Hose walked into the room, locked the door behind him, and made Tanya remove her clothes before he essayed her again. This time she knew it was an essay. She didn't want to do this. He made no effort to pretend that this was a loving part of their, air quotes, relationship, and went straight to showing the absolute filth he truly was. I imagine he wanted her clean for him, for his first time with her properly in the house, and for the routine of regularly essaying her that had just begun. So that's why she was allowed showers. For him. Because he didn't want to do something with somebody who was dirty.
Yeah.
Every single one of these acts was forced upon her. A child who was unable to give consent due to her age never did anyway. She didn't ever give him consent. Afterwards, Hose would make her update a calendar with what he had done to her. This was so he could remember what he'd done, so he could brag about it with colleagues who I don't think knew he was talking about sex with a minor. He would go into his work.
Surely.
I would really like to hope not.
I hope not.
Presumably. Oh yeah, no, actually I don't know.
That's horrendous.
And it looks like they thought, even her parents thought she just ran away, because nobody got looked at for who could have taken her or anything. She could have walked out of her life on her own that day and started a new life, and nobody cared.
So she didn't matter to anyone.
Doesn't sound like it, does it?
That's horrible. And she went from a shitty upbringing to that.
I know.
Yeah.
It just sometimes feels like some people think that
Do we know
others
how
are
long
disposable.
he held her captive?
Somehow Hose managed to not only keep her hidden, but he continued his work as a security officer at the Cornell Intermediate School while Tanya was imprisoned. She had a few things to keep herself occupied while he was away from the home, such as watching shows with the volume low on a TV set that was in the room, reading or listening to music on headphones, and incredibly, none of the residents of the home ever noticed anything. Well, that's the party line, but I don't know if I believe that, to be perfectly honest with you. I'd like to think I would notice if somebody was living in my house.
I notice when there's a bird in the eaves. You know,
Yeah,
you'd
you
hear
do.
a movement, wouldn't you? Surely.
Also, all of a sudden your house would have different sounds. It'd be like, I've not heard that before.
Maybe American houses are slightly different.
Maybe people just
They
like to
have
ignore
crawl space and stuff, don't they? And maybe the sounds are a bit different.
Aye.
And they're wooden as well. Mind you, that
Wooden
would...
fascia, I don't think it's wooden all the way through the house.
You'd think that would increase sound, though. Mm-hmm. Who
No,
knows?
I just think that sometimes people have a thought but then keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Don't want to rock the boat. And if he was like this with her, I don't know what he was
Maybe
like with his own parents.
I was going to say maybe they were afraid of him.
Yeah, maybe he was violent. I'm not sure how many bedrooms the home had, but none of them ever questioned even why the room was locked. Wouldn't you think, why'd you lock your door every time that you go out?
Yeah.
Why'd I hear the TV every now and again? Because you would. I hear electricity, so when somebody turns on a TV, quite often before the sound kicks in, my ears pick it up anyway.
Bling.
And I think a lot of people have that. I don't think it's just autistic and people with ADHD. I think a lot of people do that. You would notice something, wouldn't you? Anyway.
I'd like to think I would. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to think I'd never have to
Well, yeah.
put this to the test, though.
Yeah, shudder.
You might be wondering why she never tried to get help when he was out of the home. Well, as I said earlier, he had threatened to kill her not once. He drummed it into her that if she tried and failed to escape, he would smother her and then he would go and find her family and murder them too. And despite them not seeming to care much about her, she loved her family.
He was in control. This is a control thing. So it's like those people that say, "Oh, why didn't you just leave?" It's just not that simple. It's
No.
not that straightforward. It does something to your own brain, and it's not as easy as just getting up and walking out the door. It's really not.
Or kicking them out or anything. No, it's not. Especially, I mean, thank God not in this situation, but when there's kids involved. Like, you've got to be really careful. And everybody knows the stat that in the year after somebody escapes a partner like that, that's the most dangerous time as well.
Yeah.
He made it clear that no one had ever looked for her, that he was the only one that loved her. And this proved that nobody had ever cared for her. That's what he said. Nobody cares for you. He spoke to her in a derogatory manner all the time, breaking down any spirit that she may have once had. But that said, she did make a few attempts when she got to the point of complete desperation. One such occasion, when she couldn't take it anymore, she filled her bag with some clothes and tried to assure him that she was so grateful for him letting her stay. She was clever, but she wanted to leave now. And I'm sure she told him that she wouldn't tell on him or anything, but he lost it. Threatened her again, threatened her father, and also threatened to take his own life, making her too scared to try and follow through. Following on from this, totally broken down, it seemed totally hopeless to Tanya. She needed this man for food, and he was her only company, and she felt that she needed him, and he did become her everything. So even though she despised him, something in her knew that she couldn't be without him either. Because also when she gets away, where's she going to go? She can't...
Oh yeah, he's made her completely dependent on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 4 long years, she was confined to his bedroom except for showers, when all of a sudden, he appeared to have had a change of heart about her being seen. It's probably no coincidence that this coincided with her turning 18, but whatever the reason, Tanya went with whatever he said when he began introducing her to friends and family as his girlfriend, using an alias that he'd given her, Nikki Diane Allen. By this point, he must have known that she was too scared to go against what he said, and that she was probably grateful for the change of scenery. This is not uncommon in abduction cases. Often kidnappers have taken people and made them so scared that even when they think they could get away, victims won't even try because they feel like their abductor is always watching and will punish them when they're caught.
Is it Stockholm Syndrome? Is that one of the sort of elements of it?
No, Stockholm
Because that's
System
where
is when they become to empathise with the person that's taken them.
Is that when they genuinely fall in love with the person that's taken them?
It's not genuine love. They think it is, but they feel protective over the person that's taken them.
Right, okay.
Because that's all that
and
they've
she's
shown.
not got that element.
No,
She's
not got Stockholm Syndrome.
This is survival.
This is survival. She
Right.
knows that... Well, it's not... It's the fear that you're constantly being watched, so if you try to get away and you don't...
He's
going to
do what he said he was going to do.
Yeah. The thought of them trying to make their way home and being caught and believing that this will lead to their families being murdered is enough to control most people, so that kind of answers that as well. After a year or two... So it's been 4 years, she's been allowed out and about now. After a year or two, Hose had gotten to the point that he believed Tanya was so under his spell that he let her start attending church alone. But never did she use these visits to get herself away from him. She was convinced he was watching her from somewhere always. He also let her go to shops to buy clothes, arming her with directions to the shops and keeping an eye on the time she got back. So basically, she was so brainwashed by him, she was too terrified to go against what he said. She genuinely thought, if I'm even late, he's going to think something's up. And if you think about it, if he said you've got an hour to go and buy clothes or half an hour to go and buy clothes, if you're not back by that time, he's going to come looking for you and he's probably going to get to you before anybody else can find you. It's horrible.
It is.
Not long after the church visits started, Hose also started letting her go into a local deli called JJ's Deli Mart, and when a part-time job became available, she secretly applied for it. And when she got the job, she was delighted as it gave her something to look forward to. Each week it was a reprieve from the prison she was in. But Hose was so confident in the power that he had over her, he just thought she went there to hang out for a few hours at a time. Remember, he was at work as well. So she would go out, she would do this job, he had no idea, I don't know where she put the money, her pay or anything like that, but she went out as Nikki Allen. She loved it in the deli. The family-owned business was run by a husband and wife, Joe and Janet Sparrow, and being around them showed Tanya what a loving family dynamic looked like. This was something she'd never had, not with her mum and Jerry, or Jerry and Joanne, and certainly nothing like she had with Thomas Hose. One day in 2005, whilst at the deli, Tanya was leafing through the pages of a local newspaper when she came face to face with a picture of herself as a child.
Wow.
Stunned, she realised that she was listed as a missing person and that her family were looking for her. They hadn't just let her leave and never searched, they did want her home. Can you imagine? This blew her mind.
And everything she's been forced to swallow and been told.
Starts to
It's just
crumble.
him. Ugh.
Returning home, she was still in shock for a long time and had no idea what, if anything, she could do about this. Could she go back home? Was it safe? Would Thomas kill her before she got the chance? Now, I can't even imagine how she must have been feeling with all this going through her mind whilst trying to act normal in front of her captor, because if she started changing her behaviours...
He would notice. He'd know.
Straight away.
Or he'd suspect, and then he would probably limit her activity again,
She'd
wouldn't
end up
he?
back in that room, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Although he doesn't seem too clever because he didn't know she had a job.
But is he, by this point, is he losing interest because she's an adult?
I'm not sure. That's potentially, but I'm not sure. For the rest of 2005 and the beginning of 2006, Tanya thought about this. About seeing herself in the news. Her childhood picture was ingrained in her mind, but she was still facing the daily abuse, both verbal and sexual, at the hands of her jailer. Tanya was now 24 years old and was still working in JJ's Deli Mart, and she really loved being with the Swarrico family and she trusted them, especially Joe, the father. And she'd wanted to tell him so many times that she needed help but just couldn't work up the nerve. Then one day in March 2006, it all became too much for her to hold inside. It had to come out. Suddenly, looking at Joe, she heard the words coming out of her mouth. "If you look on the website for missing children, you'll see a picture of me." She told him she was not called Nikki Allen. She was really Tanya Nicole Kach, and that Hose was not her boyfriend, but her captor. And as soon as the words tumbled out, she burst into tears, relief and fear flowing out of her in equal measure. Shocked to his core, Joe immediately reached for the phone and called his son, an ex-police officer, and he knew the name as soon as he heard it. Joe then contacted the police, who spoke to Tanya. Now, knowing that her situation was incredibly precarious and getting her out of the Hose home, they had to handle this delicately. They advised Tanya to go home from the deli when she was finished and act completely normal. Now remember, she had practice of this over the last few months, so she could hold her nerve just a little bit longer. They were coming for her. That day, she left the deli, hugging Joe and the family goodbye, before hesitantly heading back to her home of the last 10 years.
What a courageous thing to do as well, like, and to confide in another man as well when she's been treated like that is wow.
I think in this situation, because she's never had anybody, I don't think she thinks all men are like this, whereas some people go through things, and we know that people tend to end up in the same pattern of relationship over and over and over again, and that makes people really not trust, if it's men that are doing it, men. But she didn't have that, so I think that might be the difference.
And she would have also seen Joe treating his wife well, and
kids, grandkids,
and learned to trust that element of it as well. But yeah, just so brave. Mm-hmm. But she's got to go back into the prison.
Yep. So she's headed home. A few hours later, none the wiser, police arrived at the 2-storey family home set on a street full of other families and arrested Thomas Hose, charging him with numerous offences, including 3 counts of involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, 1 count of statutory sexual assault, 2 counts of aggravated indecent assault, 1 count of interference with custody of a child, 1 charge of endangering the welfare of a child, 1 count of corruption of a minor, and 1 count of indecent assault. But I just have to make it clear that Hose wasn't charged with kidnapping. And before you say anything, I know. Despite being a vulnerable minor at the time she was taken, the DA felt like she went willingly, so there was no charge.
She might have gone to his house willingly, but she didn't know what she was getting herself into, and she was a child, and she'd been manipulated and groomed, so how...
Yeah. But remember, this is 1990. This is 2006. So you would have thought we were a lot further on by now, but obviously not.
You'd hope so, but...
After police had Hose in the police car and on his way to be questioned, they led Tanya to a separate car, and with a deep breath, she got inside, finally able to breathe, knowing that it was over. She was finally free. I'm thinking to myself, this shows the immaturity of her, as in, I don't mean that as a derogatory term. I mean that she just thinks, oh, the police are here now, this is solved.
Yeah.
But it's nice as well, but it's naivety, that's what I meant, not immaturity. As the car drove away, she looked back briefly at the Hose home before being able to look forward, knowing that she was leaving all that behind. Later in the evening, in the safety of the police station, Tanya was finally reunited with her father, Jerry. And whilst they hugged and cried, the reunion was bittersweet, as her father made it clear he believed her disappearance was her own fault. He felt that at 14 years old, she was old enough to have made her own decisions and went with him willingly.
Ouch.
Yeah, this angers and disappoints me so much for Tanya. At 14, she was a child, and a vulnerable one at that, with a lot of misery being caused in part by the father who was now shaming her. Like me, Tanya now knew that this was not her fault, and these feelings towards her from her father has led them to become estranged. Which
I'm not surprised, because even if he had those thoughts, why? She's been through enough.
why? Because some people have to tell you you're wrong, don't they?
Oh, if you hadn't have done that, you wouldn't have got into this mess.
Yeah,
into
I
this
told
pickle.
you so.
Yeah, oh.
A little bit of a pickle.
In a little bit of a pickle, yes.
I love pickles. I do. Not uniformed ones. But it wasn't all disappointment for Tanya when it came to her parents. In the aftermath of her being found, her biological mother, Sherry, stepped up and helped Tanya rebuild her life and learn to navigate the world as a grown-up. Despite their shared past, they managed to build a relationship by attending intense therapy together, and now Sherry's her daughter's biggest supporter, which made me cry. I mean, she made mistake after mistake. She was an alcoholic, which is a disease, but she's obviously managed to get through that. Abusive, I think, in the sense of neglect, but when it mattered...
So some people, how do I word it? You get those people that are no good at being a parent. It doesn't mean that they're the most horrendous person in every sense. It's just that they struggle with some things. And actually, when their children become adults, they can have the best relationship ever when they're both sort of seeing more eye to eye.
It could be a bit of both.
Yeah, but it also might have been that her daughter was taken away from her for a while, and so she's just
maybe that made
realised
her sort herself out. Yeah. If I ever get her back, you can imagine. I'm not religious, but you can imagine praying every night. If you let her come back, ways. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Tanya came face to face with Hose once more when he was finally taken to trial for his crimes. During the trial, he made an apology to Tanya, but I don't think it meant much to her. In front of the jury and Hose, Tanya bravely took the opportunity to read a victim impact statement. And I'll say, if I was in her position, I'd have been a nervous wreck. My legs would have been shaking, my heart would have been beating 100 miles an hour, and I would have hated every minute. But I'm so proud that despite it being so hard, she did it, because she wanted to protect other victims from men like him, and that makes me feel really proud of her. Yeah. Which sounds like a weird thing to say, because I don't know her, but I do think... Yeah.
I think you can still feel that way, I think. All along, I think, actually, she's been so courageous.
She has. Even when she tried to escape, the language she was using then, thank you for having me, I really appreciate it. You know, she knew, she's a clever woman.
Very, yeah, definitely.
The following quotes, come from her statement. I'm no longer your puppet. You took away my innocence, my childhood, and made me think that my family didn't want me or love me, and nobody loved me but you. Which I think is quite powerful. You know, that's what he tried to do to her, and she knows that. At the end of his trial, he was sentenced to how long?
Just tell me.
15 years. Which is a disgrace.
15? 1-5?
Yep. Probably let him keep his job too, you know what?
At a school, yeah. But this is in America. Normally they have proper sentencing in America.
Sometimes they do, and then other times you're like, I'm sorry, you've given like parole, or like you've let them out now, or like your case with Maria.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less said the better. So I want to close out Tanya's story by telling you about her achievements from the time since that day in March 2006 when she was found. And I'll share some information with you about the unsolved murder of Kimberlie Krimm that I mentioned earlier.
That wasn't him, was it?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
He's not a murderer, just a rapist.
We don't know because it's unsolved.
Okay. When I said just a rape, I was being sarcastic.
You're being sarcastic, yeah. I don't know much about it, but I think if we could shine a little light on it and share some articles about it in the aftermath of the episode coming out, you know, we can try.
Yeah.
Adjusting to life in the real world was not easy for Tanya. She had to learn to function in a society filled with people and behaviours she didn't recognise while trying to deal with her trauma. But she made the decision early on that what she had been through was not going to define her, and she slowly began to achieve things that for a long time she wouldn't have believed possible. Now remember, she she had to learn how to be a young adult because she didn't have anybody modelling behaviours around her. She didn't have anybody.
And
So
she's been kept in the dark. She's been kept away from a lot of things.
Yes,
so,
everything.
And yes, she had that job and that little element of freedom, but even that would have been overshadowed by
everything that was going on. And she was doing it under a false... She wasn't even able to be herself.
No. Even under a false name, you said. So
yeah. So she went and got her driving licence and she started college. She got herself a job managing a shop. And it was in this shop that she met a man called Carl, who was also a manager. They became really close and fell in love, leading to a marriage on the beach. Just the two of them. Now, due to what Hose did to her over the years, she's never been able to have her own children. But because of her marriage to Carl, she's become a step-parent to his son and daughter, and they've built up a relationship with them that's so good that when they've gone on to have their own children, she's got a really good relationship with them as well.
So she's a granny.
She is. Or a meemaw.
A meemaw.
Tanya has gone on to use what happened to her in a really positive light by going into schools and other organisations to tell her story in an effort to share the signs of grooming to stop other people having to go through what she did. She feels it's important to share that going through something like this does not have to mean the end of people. And that's why I want to share a lot of the things about grooming for people. She also went on to write a memoir, The Girl Locked Upstairs, the Tanya Kach story, which was then turned into a documentary by Elizabeth Smart, another victim of child abduction, who I think a lot of you will have heard about. Have you heard of Elizabeth Smart? I will share both of the documentary and the book on our socials. As I draw to a close with Tanya's story, I now want to give some details about the unsolved murder of Kimberlie Krimm. And I won't be able to go into as much detail, but I'll be sharing on our socials, so if you could even share them, it would be much appreciated.
And I think we said at the end of the last episode, anything where a case still needs answers and can still
be solved, potentially.
Potentially, and give families an element of closure or anything like that. That's what share them, please.
If you recall earlier in the episode, I told you about Tanya's behaviours and that she got into loads of fights, including the one with Monica Krimm.
Yeah.
I mentioned that the name then became well known in McKeesport after the tragic death of her young sister. So this is what we know. 14-year-old Kimberlie Krimm left her McKeesport home on Tuesday the 30th of June 1998 and was never seen alive by her family again. What?
No, I'm just thinking.
Oh, I thought you knew the case.
No, I'm thinking.
So it was 2 years after Tanya went missing. When she set off that day, her intention was to visit a friend and then they were going to go to a nearby shop to get some hair dye. Her parents began to worry when Kimberlie did not arrive home and they called the police straight away. For 5 days, the Krimm family waited for news before the police arrived on the 6th day with the tragic news that some remains had been found on a hillside that overlooked the McKeesport and Versailles cemetery. The area she was found was a well-walked shortcut used by locals in the area for walking or running, and earlier in the day an unfortunate soul who's remained unnamed, known only as a, oh good God, I think this might be a place or a company, Duquesne, I don't know, light contractor, had made the awful discovery. Due to the condition of the remains, it's never been established exactly how Kimberlie was killed. But most people, including her mother, do believe she was murdered, and local police have kept the case open as an unsolved murder in the hopes that someone will come forward with information at some point. Experts believe that due to the weather during the time Kimberlie was missing, her body was so severely decayed, it made finding clues on her almost impossible.
Oh, okay.
It looks like she'd been lying there probably since the day she went missing.
But still, that's only, you said 6 days?
6 days, and people regularly walk it. Is it a dump ground? I don't. They don't even know that. I think her body was so decayed because the weather was so bad. It must have been the heat, I'm thinking.
I was going to say, it must have been...
Yeah.
Or a combination of rain and heat. Ugh. Okay. That poor family.
The body was... it made finding clues too hard. So her mother has theorised that maybe her daughter was arguing with somebody, mouthing off is the terms that she used, and a fight broke out with the other person leaving her where she fell. And she just hopes, like, what she wishes for is if she's right about this, she just wishes the second person would come forward just to give them some answers. Even
anonymously again?
Yeah, everything can be done anonymously. And that's it. That's all we know. It's still unsolved, so I will be sharing a lot of links for you, and if anybody happens to know something, if you live in the area, maybe you've heard something, anything little, like we said last time, was it last case?
Yeah.
Even the thing that you think is the most insignificant thing ever could lead to some more information. Those are my stories for today. They're a little shorter than my usual ones.
I mean,
I wanted to share Tanya's case because it was something
Tanya's case was
positive in the end.
It was, but it was like I could feel my heart racing, and I was actually holding my breath at one point because I thought, where is this going, Gemma?
Mm-hmm.
And horrible. The thought of being held captive, but actually even the fact that he gave her that much freedom but had her on this string because he had put those thoughts in her head that meant she was just terrified.
If she hadn't seen her picture in the newspaper, she'd probably still be there. Because
where would it have gone? Because he was obviously attracted to children.
Well, she was 20. See, this is the thing.
So why had he lost interest? Is that why he?
Well, he was still abusing her every single day, which makes me think: was he doing other stuff on the other side? Which, when you said about Kimberlie Krimm, I'm not saying that he did anything because we don't know,
but the fact that she was 14. I mean, that's a massive leap, but it's the same area,
same school
where
he worked.
It's but I think it's a good opportunity for us as well to share that stuff about
grooming
and what it can look like. I'd not heard of either of those.
I didn't know about Kimberlie Krimm when I started.
I'm trying to think of what age she is now then.
Tanya.
She's slightly older than us.
She's a year older than us. She was born in 1981.
Yeah.
But I hadn't heard of Kimberlie's case, and it was only because I came across it in the research, and I thought I can't not mention it.
It's amazing how many times that happens when we're researching one case. We go, hold on a minute.
Yeah. And you're just hoping it's not connected to the one you're doing, because then it really does grow arms and legs. You think, oh.
But like the last case I did, that just, I thought, no, that can't be. And yeah, go listen.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. I'm not going to ruin it in case people haven't. Not ruin it. I'm not going to give part information.
No spoilers.
No,
go
not
listen.
even a spoiler, but you need to hear it properly how Victoria had it planned for you to hear.
Yeah, we do put a lot of effort into our cases and how we write. So yeah, that was brilliant. Horrible.
Go her.
Go her.
I think I'd like to watch the documentary. I'll have to see if I can find...
Does she do any sort of campaigning or...
Well, she goes around schools and organisations, but what I didn't do is
she hasn't got a name of a...
Hang on.
That's what I was trying to
like an Instagram
say without
or
words,
something.
because my words are failing me.
Yeah, because her name is different now. It's still Tanya Kach, but she's got her husband's name at the end as well. Instagram. Oh, there was a lawsuit with her father, apparently.
Oh,
she does have a Instagram page.
So she is an activist.
Yeah, but she doesn't have much on her. She doesn't have many followers. Her name is Libra Girl 1481. Her latest post says, I have a speaking engagement coming up in a little over a month for the 12th Annual Domestic Violence Conference with UPMC Passivant Hospital Foundation. It is October the 10th. Deadline to register is tomorrow. How crazy is that? And I hadn't looked that up. You can find her there. You can see pictures of her, and she really is, living her best life.
Oh, good.
I don't know what that was about a lawsuit with her husband.
And I guess that's something that we can include in this episode for anyone that is not by any means in the same situation, but in a situation where they are feeling trapped or anything. And if there's a way that you can have the courage to...
There's hope.
To free yourself, there is hope for you.
Yeah.
Because look at her. She looks...
She looks really happy.
There's a picture here on her Instagram, and she's at Disney World, and she's got the pink Mickey Mouse ears, and yeah.
And that's her hubby, I think, that she's with in the picture.
Excellent. So there can be more.
Yeah. Oh, and it looks like she's got a pussycat called Ella.
I'm allergic.
Yeah. Look, this was her in her 20s.
Oh, wow.
So she got away when she was 24.
I hope she stayed friends with the people at the deli as well.
Oh, yes, I meant to say she has gone back. She went back once and just gave Joe the biggest of hugs.
I bet.
Because imagine he'd not believed her. Imagine he'd phoned Thomas or something, but he didn't. He was obviously just a sound family guy.
And that is the right thing to do when somebody discloses to you as well, is whether in your head...
You're not there to say that this has happened or not.
Exactly. You're not there to say that's not true or that is true. just believe what they say, believe that they believe it, and act accordingly.
Yeah.
So we'll put loads of stuff up because we do have a lot of information about this sort of thing.
We do.
Yeah,
We've
great.
both got a bit of a background,
We do.
so we can...
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great stuff. And the
Thank
fact that she
you.
said her victim impact statement as well. You go, girl.
Yeah, I can only
just-
imagine how hard that is. I remember I used to do network marketing and I did a talk one time for that, and I remember just shaking all the way through. And I wasn't nervous at all to do it until I stood up, and then I thought, I don't know if my legs are going to hold me. So being in that situation must be so much
I was
harder.
going to say, without giving off too much information, I've had to write one. I didn't have the balls to stand up and say
It's not
it,
about having the balls.
but it was pretty long. 13
Even writing
pages,
it must
I
be
think.
quite cathartic, though.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to do, but to stand up and read it as well. Yeah, I just think, wow, power to you, girl.
So,
Brilliant. She got out.
she did.
A happy ending
and
for her, not for Kim's family, but yeah.
hopefully one day they'll get answers, though. Just makes me really sad how little there is about her.
Yeah.
There's not much to find. All my references will be in the Spotify blurb. And next episode is Victoria's. We'd like to say thank you to everybody for your continued listening.
Keep following,
Keep sharing.
keep liking.
Let's
We
solve-
hope you really are enjoying it as well, because we're enjoying making them.
Yeah, comment. We like your comments.
Yeah, comment so we can interact. 'Cause
Let's solve some crimes,
let's
people.
solve some crimes. Yeah, great stuff.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to say bye.
Keep on trucking.